So, Bhagavad Gita from chapter 2. Today we will discuss verse 2.4. Verse 4. So, before that, what we saw in 2.3, please sing with me. क्लेभ्यमास्मगमः पार्थ नैतत्त्वय उपपद्यते शूद्रं हृदय दौर्बल्यं त्यक्त्वोत्तिष्ठ परन्तप. So here in 2.3 we saw that how Krishna is chastising Arjuna because he was not very happy, he was not very pleased with his behavior, he was not desiring to fight. So on this, Krishna was saying, Klabhyam masma gamaha partha. Klabhya means neutrality. So from where, O Partha, so you are son of Pritha, so why are you accepting such neutrality? नैतत्वय उपपद्यते शूद्रम हृदय दौर्बल्यम तत्वोत्तिष्ठ परंतप. So yes, you might say that this is out of your compassion, but this is actually the weakness of your heart. So actually here Krishna is giving high definition of standard chastisement. So when you wish to chastise someone, don't say bad words to him or her. You can chastise him like Krishna is chastising. Shudram hridaya daurbalyam. This is the weakness of your heart. So suppose Prabhuji was telling this, that suppose any devotee is not chanting, so you may chastise him like this. Shudram hridaya balyam. This is the weakness of your heart. Tyaktvotishtha. Stand up. Paranjapa. Paramjapa means you chant. Chanting is the supreme goal of life. So you stand up and chant. This is the weakness of your heart. So, like that. So, okay, now moving forward to 2.4. Now, here, see, Arjuna Uvacha. So, here we will see. Okay, let's just recite this verse first. Please sing after me. Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha
Katam Bhishmam Aham Sankhye.
Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhye
Dronam Cha Madhusudana.
Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami.
Ishvihit Pratiyotsyami
Pujarha Varisudana.
Pujarha Varisudana
Arjuna Uvacha.
Arjuna Uvacha
Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudana.
Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhye Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami Pujarhav Arisudana.
Ishvih Pratiyotsyami Pujarhav Arisudana
Now you sing.
Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha.
Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhye Dronam Cha Madhusudana
Katham Bhishmam Aham Sankhe Dronam Cha Madhusudana.
Ishvih Pratiyotsyami Pujarhav Arisudana
Ishubhi Pratiyotsyami Pujarhav Arisudana. So in this verse, now Arjuna has not accepted himself as a disciple. But Krishna, while he's chastising, so he is already acting as a master, as a guru. So Krishna has already took this position of guru, but Arjuna has not yet accepted a position of a disciple. So now let's see what other not judgment, excuse he is giving here. So Anvay, we'll see. Hey Madhusudana. So now again he is addressing Krishna with this name Madhusudana. So he's saying Madhusudana, not Guru Sudana or Pitri Sudana, not like that. You are Madhusudana. So, hey Madhusudana, Aham Bhishmam. Bhishmam is Bhishma. Dronam is Dronacharya. So, Cha means end. Bhishma and Dronacharya. Sankhya Ishubhi Katham Pratyotsami. Arisudana Puja Arhau. So, basically, let's see what he's saying. He's saying, O killer of enemies, O killer of Madhu. So Arisudan means killer of enemies and Madhusudan means killer of demon Madhu. How can I counter attack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? So yes, he's saying that how can I, to Bhishma and Dronacharya, how can I leave my arrows on such personalities who are standing in the opposing party? How can I leave arrows on such personalities? Okay, you're saying that please quit this weakness of heart. You don't accept this neutrality. Okay, you're saying all these things, words of chastisement. Okay, but how can I leave my arrows, or how can I counter attack with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona? So, you know what Arjuna is trying to say here? First of all, he is addressing Krishna with Madhusudana, that you are the killer of Madhu, you are killer of enemies. So you have never killed your own masters or your grandfathers. And master means Acharya. Acharya means a Brahmana. So you have never killed any Brahmana or your own guru or grandfather. No one. You have only killed your enemies or the demons. So okay, you are God. If suppose you kill any of these, like a Brahmana or a guru, so because you are God, so that would not be considered as a sinful act because you are God. But it is not applicable on me. I am not God. I am simple living being. So definitely, how can I counteract with arrows to my grandfather or my master? People like these personalities. How can I counteract them? Have you ever killed your own master? Or have you ever killed any Brahmana? In fact, I don't know if you know this story about Brigu Muni. He once, uh, what we say, from his feet, he attacked on Krishna's chest. Have you heard this story of Brigu Muni? If not, then we can, discuss this story.
Oh, is he who went to
Test
the
that who
three
is God.
personalities and attack with his thoughts, with physical and with insult of words?
Yes. So basically, he went to Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu. You know this story, right? So, okay, we are not
It's in
discussing this
Krishna
story.
book.
Okay, so we are not discussing this story because you know it already. So, yes, so Arjuna is suppose he's saying that in fact you accepted that, uh, you know, the that attack which a Brahmana did on your chest. He kicked on your chest. He offended you, but then also you you didn't offended you didn't offend him back. Instead, you were, you were very concerned about him, about his feet, about his foot, that he might not get any hurt on his
Yes.
foot. Because my chest, you were thinking that, your chest is very hard, and if that Brahmana, he has very soft feet, and by his foot he attacked on your chest, so probably you were thinking that he might not get any hurt on his foot. See how
Yeah.
amazing Krishna is. So Arjuna is saying this, in fact you accepted that attack from the Brahmana. You have never killed or attacked any Brahmana. In fact, you have accepted an attack from a Brahmana on your chest. And in Pranam Mantra of Krishna, it's there, Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Namo Brahman Devaya Go Brahman Hitaya Cha. So, Brahman Hitaya Cha means one who is a maintainer of Brahmanas,
Mm.
and one who is maintainer of cows. So,
What
yes.
is the name again?
What?
The
The shloka?
maintainer of Brahmanas?
Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Brahmana means Brahmana.
Mhm.
Hitaya Cha means maintainer. So,
Hitayacha. Ah,
so
so is this like a
hit means,
Vishnu is? Yeah, please go ahead.
hit means, if we are doing something good to others, that is hit in Hindi
Mhm,
or Sanskrit.
mhm.
Yes. So Hitaya Cha means one who is well-wisher or maintainer of Brahmanas. That is
Ah,
you.
mhm.
So you have never killed any Brahmana. You want to say something about this? You were saying something.
Um, so this is like a Vishnu's um characteristic of maintainer, like he sustains us as well.
Yes,
Uh-huh.
exactly. So, we discussed this earlier also, that Prabhupada has given, he has been given us the training of Brahmana, how we can become a Brahmana or a Vaishnava. So definitely Vaishnava's position is higher than a Brahmana, but it has qualities of Brahmana. Brahmana, they wake up early in the morning, they worship Lord Vishnu, chant his names, so like that. So yeah, Brahmana means, you can say, Vaishnava. So yes, you have never killed any Brahmana. In fact, once Durvasa, he offended a Vaishnava. I'm not remembering his name. But yes, there was one devotee who was on fast, Ekadashi fast, and on next day was Dwadashi, and he had to break his fast. Paran time, fast breaking time, is a duration where we need to break our fast. So yes, during that time he had to break his fast, but at that time Durvasa came at his house, at his home. And it is a rule, when a Brahmana or any guest comes at your house, then at that time, before feeding them, you cannot eat anything. It's a rule, it's a culture. So, Durvasa Muni was always like this. He always used to test people, or yeah, some things like that. So he went to take a bath, Durvasa, and he intentionally was delaying in that, so that Vaishnava may not break his fast, or he may commit some mistake. So now he went to Brahmanas, that Vaishnava, that, oh, what should I do? It's my time to break fast, but a Brahmana has uh, come at my house. So what to do? How, like, what to do? So then later he said that if you drink water, so when you are drinking water, by that you are breaking your fast, but at the same time you are not breaking your fast. So you can do like this. So he did so. He just took a few drops of water in his mouth. So basically, to basically, follow that, uh, to basically break his fast and at the same time not break his fast. And Durvasa Muni, when he came to know about this, he became very angry. And he cursed. He was about to curse or something like that. He offended that Vaishnava. So immediately, Sudarshan Chakra of Lord Vishnu came to kill him, Durvasa Muni. Because, uh, I mean, it is like this. Krishna never tolerates an offense towards his devotees. He's very much, sensitive here. He can tolerate an offense towards himself, but he can never tolerate an offense towards his devotees. So, yes, at that time, Sudarshan Chakra came to kill Durvasa. But, Durvasa was not killed, he was running. Here and there, he was running and he was shouting, "Please save me! Someone save me! I don't want to die." So he was running here and there. He went to many planets, higher planets, to Swarg Loka, to this Loka, to that Loka, but no one could help him. Then at last, probably Brahmaji advised him that only Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, can save you, because you offended a Vaishnava, and it's Sudarshan Chakra is a weapon of Lord Vishnu, so you should go to him. So then he went to Lord Vishnu and he said, "Please, please, Lord, please forgive me. It was my mistake. This, that." So Lord Vishnu said, "I can't do anything. You have offended my devotee. So you have to go and you have to ask for forgiveness from him. Only then you can be saved." So then he went to that Vaishnava and he, asked for forgiveness. And later, because Vaishnavas are so kind, they never take any offense. Instead, he was thinking that I have offended this Brahmana, Durvasa Muni. But later he said that, okay, okay, if, by forgiving you, you will be saved. So, okay, I forgive you. So then he was like, "Oh, thank you so much. I'm saved." So you can see here also, Krishna didn't killed kill any Brahmana, not even Durvasa Muni. So
Mm.
like that. So yes, you can see Krishna has never killed any Brahmana or Guru or any person. You can see there is no Brahmana in the history who has been killed by Krishna. Never. Krishna never did that.
Yeah, that's very interesting story. I didn't know it. Thanks for telling it. And I don't know if um there's an explanation for this, because I have a couple of questions. So so is breaking the fast with water some kind of offense?
No, it's not an offense, but as I mentioned, it was Amrish Maharaj. That Vaishnava was Amrish Maharaj. Amrish Maharaj was a very exalted devotee, by his all limbs, his mind, speech, hands, ears, legs, hands, everything. He was engaging in service of Krishna only. Although he was a king, but then also every time from his whole body he was engaged in service of Krishna. So from mind he was meditating on Krishna, from his speech he was glorifying Krishna, from his hands he was cleaning temple of Krishna, from his eyes he was seeing Krishna, from his legs he was visiting to temple or to holy places. So, like that, with everything, he was serving Krishna. It's mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto probably 8, 7 or 8.
Um, okay. Um, so Durvasa Muni, is that his name? Yes.
Yes.
He didn't like it that um that
Actually, Durvasa Muni was always like this. He always used to become offended easily by
uh
anyone. Even, with Arjuna also, so many stories are there where he was like this. And, Durvasa Muni is an expansion of Lord Shiva.
oh,
So,
okay.
yes. Expansion means he is not Lord Shiva or incarnation of Lord Shiva. Expansion means we call it Shaktavesh Avatar. Shaktavesh Avatar means that Lord gives, even, Narad Muni, we see Narad Muni is Shaktavesh Avatar of Krishna. So, Lord give little potency to his devotees, and then, they can do certain things.
Mhm.
So Durvasa Muni is a Shaktavish avatar of Lord Shiva.
I see. So he was sort of sensitive about issues and
Yes,
he would then get agitated and then
exactly.
there would be some problem because
Exactly.
he would I see. Okay. Thanks. Yeah, that makes sense. So then I was also wondering, so the Sudarshan, does it have a mind of its own or like a action and will of its own? Because I thought so like Vishnu was operating it, or it does its own will sometimes.
Of course, Lord Vishnu is operating it. It's a weapon of Lord Vishnu. But then also he wanted that, because you have offended devotees, so you should go and ask for forgiveness. So here he is giving us lesson that, consciously or unconsciously, if sometime we offend a devotee, so we should ask for forgiveness from that devotee only. Only then we can be relieved from that offense.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's actually quite a useful advice, actually, because we never know when we commit an offense, and when you realize that um, you need to be more direct about how you are going to redeem yourself from this
I
offense.
have a trick of how we can always save ourselves from offense. You be silent and speak only when it is necessary. You will be saved from, you know, so many offenses, because definitely we are not pure devotees yet. So we don't know if we said something, even if we said something to a devotee for as his well wisher, but we don't know how he will take our speech in what way. So, better is we always say stay silent, and we only speak when it's necessary.
Yeah.
So, you know, in Yashomati Mataji's group, Yashomati Mataji is a disciple of Prabhupada, but a devotee, he's very senior, and he was actually talking to me, and he was sharing this thing with me that although Mataji is very humble, but in the group, many devotees talk with her as if they are her friends, or Mataji is very ordinary person like us. So later, because he is very elder to me and he was trying to help me, so he told me also about my few messages that they were not good. So because my intention was, I was asking the questions genuinely, but my tone or whatever thing was not proper, and he was telling me, uh, so yes, then now I try to remain silent in the group. I just read messages, I just grab knowledge nicely, and whenever necessary I only speak that time. So that way, it's very easy to avoid offenses,
Mm.
because this Vaishnava aparadh is a big hurdle in our life, which it becomes a big hurdle in our life to progress in our Krishna consciousness life. So
Mm.
we should be very conscious about this. So yes, one
Yeah.
trick is that we remain silent, and whenever necessary, then only we speak.
Yeah. And I appreciate your telling this because um, this is so true and very, very good advice because as I understand from scripture, um, the speech is uh, related to Agni. So speech is like related to the element of fire. And what you said, that just you said when it's necessary, is the same like fire. You only use fire when it's necessary because if you're using fire out of control, you're gonna get so much reaction and big troubles. So that's very interesting that there's that connection and from what you said.
Yes,
It's
thank you
just
so much for sharing this fire thing. It's very amazing how
mm,
you know, put put it in this way. It's very nice. So now
yes.
I have another, um, another, I mean, something to remember when I'm speaking, that our speech is like fire. So I'll remember this point which you mentioned just now. Very amazing. So,
Yeah, it's towards the end of Canto 2 when um I mean you're familiar, but sometimes we need to like um remember like specifically. Yeah, it tells you like the the five elements that we know, but plus another three. And then it does say because Vishnu has this um um qualities. That's why the jiva has these qualities too. And then it explains in each verse um, like what's related to the sight and what's related to um, the speech and like that. So there it said the fire, and so that's why I remembered from what you said. So we made that connection.
yes. So, here comes another story of Mrig Maharaj. Have you heard Mrig Maharaj, who became a lizard, a big lizard? You know this story? So, once, let me tell you this story also. So, Mrig Maharaj was a great donator. He used to give, charity, lots of charity to Brahmanas, lots of cows, wealth, money, this, that, gold. So once what happened, he donated a cow to a Brahmana. And yes, so that cow was with that Brahmana. He was with that cow was with that Brahmana. But someday she went somewhere and she again came to the kingdom of Nrig Maharaj. And because cows looks similar, we cannot identify that
Yeah.
this is different a cow that is different. Cows looks different. So yes, she again mixed with the group, and then Nrig Maharaj, he donated that same cow to another Brahmana. That same cow, without realizing that I have already donated this cow to someone else, and this cow has again came here. So now that previous Brahmana, he came again to that king, and he said, "Oh, this was my cow. Why you have donated my cow again to that Brahmana?" But now that Brahmana was also loving that cow. So he also said that I will not give this cow again. Now this is my cow because king has donated this to me. So that way, you know, they were talking like that. But then both the Brahmanas, they became furious, and they left that cow in the kingdom only, and they both left their homes. They were furious, they got offended. And because of this reason, Nrig Maharaj in his next life, he became a lizard.
Oh.
Now, of course, Nrig Maharaj didn't intentionally offended any Brahmana, but then also it was an offense. So because of this reason, he became a lizard in his next life. And again, it was again an exceptional case where he took birth in a very big lizard, and he was there in the well. And Krishna himself, uh, you know he with through his hand, he put his hand in that well, and he took that lizard out from that well. And that way, now that lizard was liberated, that king was liberated, and he went back to Krishna. So basically, from this story also, Krishna wanted to give this lesson that by uh, mistake also, like unconsciously also, we should never offend any Brahmana or any devotee. Here we can see Nrig Maharaj's intentions was not such to offend any Brahmana, but then also it was an offense. So here he's giving us this lesson that we should be very, very conscious about these offenses. Otherwise, we have to, suffer the reaction of our mistakes. And
So he
yeah,
is called Marit Maharaj?
Nrig,
N-
Nrig.
ah, okay.
Now,
Thank you.
all these stories are mentioned in Bhagavatam. So don't worry, we will read these stories in detail in future if Krishna is willing, when we'll be starting our Bhagavatam. So, my instructing master once blessed me, Vijay Bhava, because he was pleased with, these discussions initially. So later he also had this desire that I discuss these scriptures in English language. So, yes, we are doing it, and you are also becoming a medium for that. So, thank you so much. So, okay, like that, you will see basically from here, we can see Krishna, he never offended or killed any Brahmana or any Guru. In fact, you will see here also when Kunti Maharani, she came back to uh, what is the name of that kingdom of Dhritarashtra? Do you remember it? Okay, whatever. So yes, when she came back in that kingdom of Dhritarashtra, so she came with her 5 sons. Now again, these everyone, these sons of Dhritarashtra or everyone who was there in the kingdom, they started uh, offending or blaming Kunti Maharani, because we already know that Pandu, she can never get children because Pandu was already cursed, and then he also left his body now. So after he left his body, so definitely they had to return to the kingdom uh, because her husband was not there. So at that time also they offended, they blamed Kunti for this, that how is it possible, maybe something Kunti mixed with someone or something like that, because it was not possible to have children because Pandu you know could not do that. So at that time also, then later Vyasdeva came and Bhishma Deva came, and they cared. They basically cared for Pandavas and Kunti Maharani. They were taking care of the Pandavas as, I mean, he was taking care of Pandavas as his own children. And in fact, many times Arjuna used to address Bhishma Deva with Pitaji. Pitaji is father. Oh, my father. But then Bhishma Deva used to tell him, no, I am not your father, I am your grandfather. So we cannot imagine how much love they had for Arjuna, Bhishma Deva, and Dronacharya. We can't even imagine. They even blessed them at the time, when war was about to start. So Pandavas, they went to touch the feet to basically, pay their obeisances to Dronacharya, to Bhishma Deva. So at that time also they said, Vijay Bhava, may you, win. So like that. They also wanted them to fight. They also wanted them to win. So they were also not expecting them or Arjuna to, step back and to not fight. And in fact, at the time when, Arjuna was on the training in the ashrama of Dronacharya, so at that time also Dronacharya told to him, to Arjuna, that in future, even you had to fight with me, with your own master, then uh, you you have to fight. I mean, don't step back, even if you had to fight with me. So you fight. You don't step back at that time. So we cannot imagine how exalted Dronacharya was, because here also in first chapter we saw where Duryodhana was saying Dronacharya that, oh Dronacharya, you just look, your intelligent student Drishtadyumna, to whom Dronacharya trained, and Drishtadyumna only arranged the assembly of Pandavas, the army of Pandavas. So, although Dronacharya already knew that this Drishtadyumna is the son of my enemy, Drupad, and he will become a reason for my death, but then also he trained him. So we can never imagine how Dronacharya was so exalted Brahmana. So now, after seeing these points, after seeing, or, when Arjuna is thinking about these points, that how Dronacharya and Bhishma was so loving to me, so he can never be ungrateful to them, isn't it? Because they loved him so much. Dronacharya loved him so much. Dronacharya's favorite student was Arjuna, and how Bhishma Deva maintained and protected them, cared them. So, how can he be ungrateful here? It is said, maybe in Ramayana, it is mentioned that ungratefulness is the biggest sin or an offense. Ungratefulness. If someone did so much for us, but if we are still ungrateful, we don't have gratitude in our heart, then that is really not, very nice. It's very uncultured. So, yes, it was impossible for Arjuna to be ungrateful towards his master, towards his grandfather. So that's why he's saying that how can I counteract with arrows in battle men like Bhishma and Drona who are worthy of my worship? So Arjuna was listening to whatever Krishna told him, but you can see here Arjuna was not listening to Krishna, because it is very natural that if any person is delusioned, so even if a person is his well wisher and he is giving him guidance, nice suggestions, but then also because he's delusioned, so he will not hear him. And this is what happening here with Arjuna. He was so much overwhelmed with his emotions that he could not hear whatever Krishna was saying. And this is what happened here. Any person, if he's so much overwhelmed, suppose, any person left body in his family or friend or whatever, and suppose you are giving him Atma Jnana, that, oh, you are soul, you are not this body, please understand. And he will not hear this because he's so much overwhelmed with that emotion. He could not hear your guidance, your suggestion. So, yes, Arjuna is saying here, who are worthy of my worship? So, uh, to their lotus feet, to the lotus feet of my guru, to my grandfather, I I would have offer flowers to the lotus feet of Dronacharya, to the lotus feet of Bhishma Deva. I should offer flowers to them, but instead of that, how can I offer arrows to them? Are you getting this?
Mhm.
So, I mean, I should offer flowers to them. I cannot counteract with arrows on them. I should offer flowers to them. So, like that, he is saying. So, now we have a commentary of Sripad Ramanujacharya. So, Ram Anujacharya is one of the Acharya in our disciplic succession only. And Prabhupada really appreciated him. In fact, there are four Pramanic lines, and one of the lines is of Ramanujacharya. I don't know if you have seen them. They are Tilak. They are also devotees and they are also Pramanic, means lesson is coming from Krishna only. There are different, I mean, there are four lines. One line is of Ramanujacharya, one line is of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaudiya Vaishnav, to whom we say, and we are in that line of Lord Chaitanya. And there are two more, Stri Sampradaya, which is of Lord Goddess Lakshmi, and another is of Rudra Sampradaya. It's of Lord Shiva. So they are also serving Krishna only. They are also chanting Hare Krishna, but it's just they are following different acharyas
Mhm.
like that prominently. So prominently we are following Srila Prabhupada. So prominently they are following Ramanujacharya or whatever other acharyas they have in their lines. So let me also show you from Bhagavad Gita, where Prabhupada has mentioned it in Bhagavad Gita, the lines of acharyas. We read it in introduction, right? Okay, it's not meant, his name is not mentioned here because this line is of Gaudiya Vaishnav. So, yes, it's okay. But yes, Ramanujacharya is also Pramanik Acharya. Okay, let's see. Yes, again, Arjuna, who was overwhelmed by affection, compassion, and fear. So he was overwhelmed with these three things: affection for his guru and Dronacharya, compassion that, oh, how if I will kill them, so it would not be good because they are my kinsmen, and fear that if I'll kill them, then that would be a sinful act. So he was overwhelmed by these three emotions, and who was mistaking adharma, irreligion, for dharma, righteousness. So yes, although whatever he was speaking, that was adharma, but he was mistaking that adharma for dharma, was nevertheless aware of the beneficial instructions spoken by the Lord. Keeping this in mind, he speaks this verse. So you can see Krishna, he whatever he was saying that for Arjuna's benefit. But he was not listening it. He was not listening it, see, was nevertheless aware of the beneficial instructions spoken by the Lord. He was not hearing the beneficial instructions of Krishna. And keeping this in mind, what? Keeping adharma in mind. For him, it was dharma, but it was actually adharma. So, keeping that in mind, he speaks this verse where he's saying all these things, that how can I, you know, kill my uh, guru or him or that. So, it was actually, whatever Krishna was saying, if we see it from Dronacharya side, just like we saw, Dronacharya loved Arjuna so much that he blessed him to be world's greatest warrior. But suppose now we also saw that how he blessed him, Vijay Bhava, may you win in this battlefield, in this battle. So now suppose if Dronacharya hear this news that Arjuna ran and he's not fighting, he stepped back. So Dronacharya would become water. Water means it's an idiom in Hindi. Pani pani ho jana. Pani pani ho jana means that he may become shameful because
Really?
he expected Arjuna was his favorite. So definitely he would never expect from Arjuna to run like this, to step back from the battlefield. Because if he would have done this, Krishna will save him. But suppose if he would have done this, Arjuna, if he would have stepped back or ran from the battlefield, then Duryodhana would make joke of him and of Dronacharya also. Dronacharya, Tava Shishrena, just look. Are you watching your student? You were so proud of your student Arjuna that he's a great warrior, he will be victorious. But are you watching your student? He stepped back, he ran away. So, like that, if he would make such speech, if he would have speak like that to Dronacharya, so Dronacharya would not tolerate this, because he himself gave blessing to Arjuna, because he wanted him to win, to fight and to win. He wanted that Arjuna uh, fight with me. Because when a teacher gave some lessons to a student, and if that student became so intelligent that that student even defeated the teacher, then that is a victory of teacher only, because after all that student learned from that teacher, isn't it? So it's actually a victory for the teacher. So yes.
What is
So
this
yeah.
saying? Pani, pani. So is water, water, and what was the other word?
Pani pani ho jana. To
So
to
what's the
be
last word?
ho jana means
Yeah, what's the meaning?
to be.
Oh, I see. So
So
how
to be
how
water,
is the
water means to become, the face may become so red out of shame that he may not tolerate it. This is what it means.
Oh, I see. You know, it's interesting, like that relation with water, because I was trying to understand why is the water involved. But you know, when you have a concept, you're saying something, but you are diluting, or we can say water it down. It means like you're making it less potent.
Hmm.
Um, so there's that expression, we shouldn't like water down, the knowledge or this practice. Um, like if you have milk, you have milk, but then if you put water, you water it down, then it's not as strong. So that's how I'm understanding the water um, being related to um,
Yes, but here it means that to become so shameful that he may not tolerate that shame.
but why do they use the word water then? How
This
is
is,
it?
items, we call it items.
Mm.
Uh, there are many items in Hindi and there are many items in English also. I hope I'm saying the right word. Is it item or what? Let me check it.
Yeah, the idioms, yes, yes,
Yes,
like,
idioms or items. Yes, idioms.
yeah.
Idioms,
um,
yes. Pronunciation is idioms. So,
yeah,
yes. So,
okay.
yes, like that. So, here you can see now when Krishna, suppose Krishna is there standing in front of you and he's talking to you and he's instructing you something. So, what would you do? Suppose Krishna is saying that you do this, you should do this. Dear Eunice, please, you should do this. So what you'll say, oh Krishna, yes, you are saying this, you are instructing me. Definitely, I'll do it. But what Arjuna was doing, he was not following Krishna's instructions. He was doing something else. So yes, Krishna was chastising, Kutastava kashmalamidam vishme samupasthitam, that from where this dirt came in your heart, from where you got this idea of not fighting, and that to be at this moment. So from 2.3 he's saying here 2.4. Now then Krishna will say, so from this verse to 2.18 Krishna will give him knowledge. about Atmagyan, about who he is. And after 2.18, he will surrender to Krishna. That, okay, Krishna, whatever you say, I will do it. So, yes, any person who hears second chapter till 2.18, his all delusion fades. So, it's very important to hear till 2.18. Then, after 2.18, he will also surrender to Krishna, like Arjuna did, and then he will start devoting himself to Krishna. So, like that. So, okay, with this, maybe we can stop here now. We will discuss more commentaries tomorrow if Krishna is willing. If you have something, then you can go ahead.
I think that's all quite thorough from you to explain everything. So, yeah, I just wanted to acknowledge actually from yesterday, you were reminding us of this story of how Swami Sachinandana was asking, Krishna, and then somehow, um, about the snake appearing, and then the little parrots, saving him. I realized it was you, Mataji, who shared that video. That's how I knew. You shared with us in the chat.
Probably
That's
I
how I
shared it
knew.
for this reason only, so that you may hear. So yes.
Yeah, yeah. So um, yeah, I was thinking about that actually afterwards that you mentioned, you brought it up, that we can, yeah, I mean, we can, um, like they said actually in yesterday's meeting too, that we can converse with Krishna, one of the steps, um, and if he wants, he's going to answer something, but we have to be alert to recognize that's not always easy. Yeah, because we have so many um, imperfections and things that problems or whatever, and we are hoping to have some real understanding. Sometimes it's like, why is this happening, or is this testing me, or how can I react, how do I know, is it this or that? And of course, reading Bhagavad Gita it's the perfect example of an answer, and then so if there's more, like Swami Sachinandana is asking specific issue, then I mean he's advanced, so maybe that's why too. um, yeah.
Yes, so this is what we discussed yesterday, that if such situations comes in our life, so we see our spiritual master, that how they dedicated their life to Krishna, and such phases comes in everyone's life, because we are in this material world. But if we are surrendered to Krishna, we are very consistent in our sadhana, we are still chanting, we are still reading Bhagavad Gita, offering our food to Krishna. So these are just phases which will pass with time. So we really don't have to take such phases so serious, because they will pass by time. What matters is we keep doing whatever we are doing. Uh,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
What we call that fair, bad weather. Fair weathers, bad weathers. So weathers will come. Yesterday here it was raining, but today it's sharp sunlight. So these are weathers of life. Krishna will say this in second chapter only, that such weathers will come in our life. Before this 18th verse, before 2.18, he will say this verse, that these weathers will come in our life. But then also, if we are stable, we are fixed in our sadhana, so we will reach to that ultimate goal, go back to him. But only that person who will tolerate, who will be consistent. If such phases come and a person deviated and distracted, then it would be a delay in his life to go back to Krishna. So yeah, we should be very conscious here. It is said that when a jailer, he um, got a hint of how he can get out from the jail, so he would be on spotlight. Every effort would be make to 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 make sure he may not get out from the jail. So it's our situation. This world is like a jail, and now we know how to get out from this jail. So we are on spotlight of Maya Devi, and she puts all the endeavors so that we may distract from our bhakti life, and we again engage in those worldly matters. So yes, we should be very conscious and stay in association of devotees and keep practicing our bhakti. And soon that time will come when you will be like, oh wow, I reached to Krishna. I reached to spiritual world. Soon that day will come. But yeah, it's important that we stay consistent. It's like that. Prabhupada himself say this when devotees, they are distributing books. So one day you will see a blue hand who caught your hand, and he will take you back to him. Yes.
Yeah, I like that.
So okay, thank you, Mataji, for your association and time. We'll continue tomorrow if Krishna is willing. We'll stop here.
Thanks for
श्रीमद्
your
भगवद गीता की जय.
Jai.
श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय.
Jai.
हरे कृष्ण.
Hare Krishna.